Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to the number one home for personal development. You're at the right place at the right time. Hopefully, you are somewhere being appreciated, loved on, and never tolerated. My name is Ken Billions, if you didn't know. Thank you for being here in the spirit of personal development. I have great news for everybody that this is ministry for the abstract mind, and you are safe here if you have an out the box philosophy. If you have babies, do me a favor, please keep your babies close. And if you have someone in your life that's checking for you, trying to love on you, let them. Because when it comes to this love thing, there ain't no manuals. I got some great news. Personal development is for everybody. Personal development is for the tall. Personal development is for the short, the black, the white, the gay, the straight. No matter where you are and what's going on in your life, everybody needs personal development. If you can see me, press one, and if you can hear me, press two. I love when I get to talk to people that have an interesting perspective. It's one of my favorite things about doing what I do. I get to meet some cool and amazing people from around the country that enlighten me on things and share their ideals with me, and that's how I grow. So it's an honor and a pleasure to have a guest. So everybody that pulls up, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, please welcome my guest. We have a great conversation today. Our topic today is the art of being beautiful inside and out. This is not my particular expertise, so I'm going to fall back and I'm going to let someone else chop it up and come to us today and help us. What does that actually mean? So, guest, how are you? Please introduce yourself.
I'm well. I'm doing well. Hello, everybody. My name is Shyla Brown. You can actually call me your muse. What I do is holistic personal development, and I'm also a beauty consultant. But I have a heavy emphasis on inner beauty because it's easy to focus on the outer beauty. It's not so easy to focus on the inner beauty. And that's what we have to do. We have to merge the two and be whole. Yes. So, one of the things I really wanted to touch on today, like I said, inner beauty. But when I'm talking about inner beauty, I'm also talking about your inner well being. So, I don't want to go too much into the aesthetics of it, but really focus on the holistic well being of ourselves. And part of what I do is I tie in astrology with what you call biochemical cell salts. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but if not, I'm gonna go ahead and explain it. So, the biochemical cell salts came about from a scientist, Willem Schussler. He did some experiments on human ash, and he found out that human ash is made of basically of 12 minerals. So when he came out with this, now we came across another gentleman who was we would say he was a homeopathic individual. He liked to study natural medicines. And he found that those 12 mineral salts that they correlate with the zodiac. So each salt has the same frequency as a zodiac season. We'll say that instead of just saying signs. It's a season. Where do we get this? Where do we get these natural cell salts? Because they're all in our bodies already, the minerals. We actually get them from our mother. This is where we get it from. When we're in the womb, when we're in the void. So we're in the void for about 9 months, yes? Well, where are the other three salts? So there's a chart that you can actually look at, and it'll show you what salts you're missing. Because if you add those salts to the ones you already have that is in you, then that creates alignment pretty much. So you have all these salts that'll help you heal yourself if you're having any issues. Because think about where we talk about disease actually comes from when we say it's dis-ease. Usually the culprit is mucus. So wouldn't it make sense that salt would dry this mucus up? So I want to actually go back just a little bit just to honor mothers a little bit. Because when we talk about the womb, especially during this time when I don't feel as though we're, as women, are truly being honored as we should as mothers, because we go through so much. Many of the things that we do when we are, the baby is being created is one of the things we do. Our body starts to make extra blood. Our heart beats faster. We have to deal with fatigue because we're creating all of this and all this is going on within us. We have constant urination because we have the babies pressed on us, on our bladder. And then we have our muscles that spread, our pelvis, and our muscles become relaxed in our stomach. So the food could be digested a little bit slower. And that gives us heartburn and constipation and gas and bloating. And it's like we go through all those things so that we can give our baby what it needs. So when it does come out, this is where we tie in the zodiac. So when you look at each season, it rules a part of the body. So for instance, the Aries season, that actually rules the head, the brain, the face, the eyes. And then you have, in my perspective, this is what I call it, the art of reflection. When I'm talking about that, we have to look at Western medicine and Eastern medicine. Western medicine tends to focus on the symptoms. Eastern medicine tends to focus on the root cause. So when we look at the art of reflection and you tie it in with the zodiac, you would look at the symptom, say you got a headache or something very simple. You have a headache. In the art of reflection, it would say you have a headache because you have an issue with Libra. So the symptom is Aries, but the solution is Libra. Because if you even look further into it, if we go into Leo, Leo rules the heart, it rules the spine, it rules the back. A lot of times, people who have heart issues, their ankles swell up. Well, the opposite of Leo is Aquarius. And Aquarius rules ankles, calves, circulation system, and your veins. So when you look at these things and you look at yourself, I'll give you an even better example. Say, for instance, I'm an Aries. So that means I was in the womb for 9 months. I came out in Aries season. Well, now that means what about the next three? That's Taurus, that's Gemini, and that's Cancer. So those three salts, those are the salts that'll help me maintain my well-being. We can go even further. If we look at when we have solar flares or when we have certain transits, because you have to really look at astrology as a system. But when you look at it, maybe look at it as magnets, or you could look at it as angles, those magnets in those angles. So you were born in this location, a specific location. So when we talk about, okay, the sun was over here in this season, the moon was over here in this season, Mars was over here in this season. Yeah, but these angles, if they're all pulling, I like to explain it further as like music. If you really look at it as music, then it'll help you understand that you're fine tuned a certain way. I tell my clients this all the time: you're a song, you are a particular song, and then you have particular instruments, and those particular instruments are fine tuned a certain way. So you got to stay in tune. That means taking care of yourself and giving your body what it needs, not to mention even hydration.
Quick
You know,
question.
we're,
Quick question. Now,
hmm
forward. Right. Okay. Intro right there. I just want to walk it back just a second.
okay.
So, a lot of people have grew up in church or whatever, and astrology has been something that has been looked upon as evil, right? So, before we even move forward, is astrology evil? Is it witchcraft? Is it devil worship? On a practical side, can you explain astrology? Is it for everybody, or is it just for the gypsies? If like, is this something that everybody can lean into every day?
They can, because you have to understand that it's not about evil. Because a lot of things are called evil, especially when you don't understand them. So if if an individual, if they feel like it's not for them, they don't even want to go there because of their beliefs, that's understandable. But if you have an open mind and you actually want to use this system in order to build upon your life, because it's there, I can guarantee if you look up your own, what we call a birth natal chart, you won't be able to deny it. It's easy to say, oh, in this newspaper they have these horoscopes. That's general. That's no different than when I do readings, I do collective readings. You have to take what resonates with you. You can't take all of it because it's so many people. It's so many individual energies in that collective energy. But if you were to get your own birth natal chart, that'll tell you where your sun sign is. Because remember, we don't, well, may not know, but there's not just your sun sign. You have a rising sign, you have a moon sign, you have a Mercury sign, you have a Mars sign, a Venus sign, and they all rule certain energies.
Explain that a little bit. Just a little quick before I move forward. And I know that
So,
you do behind the scenes work and you can explain people more, but just
mhm.
a little bit, like Mars.
well,
Explain some of that.
well, let's do the rising sign. So the rising sign is how you present yourself to the world. How you're it's almost like you're representative. So when, like, if I just meet somebody, they don't know what sign I am or anything, but I'm going to come off to them as a Leo because that's my rising sign. Because, oh, she's showy and flashy and da 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 and confident and just out there, like, understandable. But when you really get to know me, then you'll see the moon sign, which is the hidden, which is the emotional regulation, how I am emotionally with people. That's your more of your spiritual side of yourself, your inner self, where your sun is your outer, like your, the rising is the outer, but the sun is like your core, like your ego. So everything rules. Your Mercury rules communication and technology. That's why when so many people, they don't understand, they say, oh, everybody wants to blame Mercury retrograde, for instance. Yes, but this is why we have certain communication issues. because when Mercury is going retrograde, that means it's in the sky and it's moving forward, but to us, it looks like it's going backwards because it's going through that orbit. So it's moving forward, but then now we see it as moving backwards. And that's a moment you're supposed to sit and not make so many decisions as far as anything new, like new contracts. They say chill out when it comes to traveling. Don't make any, set decisions, because once you come out of Mercury retrograde and now your clarity is clear again, you're most likely going to change your mind. So the miscommunications happen. You might have car troubles. A lot of people end up having car issues. And that's why you say, oh, well, that makes sense because of Mercury retrograde. That energy is being sent. You seriously, when you look at it as magnets and you're being pulled, because how much percentage are we of water? So you mean to tell me that the moon affects the oceans and the waters in the world, but it's not going to affect us when we're mostly water? And then that's only tiny. So you mean to tell me Jupiter isn't going to affect us when it's huge?
So our beauty. So you said that our the zodiac or astrology plays a role in beauty. Is that correct? What
Oh,
exactly?
yeah. It
Okay.
plays a role in beauty because it's beyond just the aesthetic. It's really, when we talk about beauty, it's also self love. And within that self love, that's taking care of your inner being. That's what makes it holistic, because you aren't just focused on the external. You can be gorgeous, but it doesn't help if you're sick on the inside.
Okay.
And
So
that's
inner beauty. How does astrology
Mhm.
affect someone's inner beauty? How does that work?
Astrology affects the inner beauty because you have certain aspects, not only just for instance, Venus rules beauty, but Venus also rules money. A lot of people misconstrue that and say love and beauty, but they forget the money part too. So when you say, for instance, I have Venus in, well, that ties into the rising sign too, because the rising sign is your image. So you have different factors that'll affect it, even emotionally. So if your moon sign, if you're a person that has a transit that makes you irritable, you know this about yourself. And so now we can tie that again into the cell salts, or even for beauty, as far as the cell salt that Sagittarius rules is silica. And silica is great for your skin. It's great for elasticity. It's great for your hair. It's great for your nails. So if you really wanted to dive deep into that, that's something you can put into any of your beauty creams. This is a part of what I talk about. These things can be used, and you have to look at your own chart and tie it in. Because they say your moon sign, that's your weakness too, as far as your anatomy, your body. So for instance, if you have a Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius rules hips, kidneys, and your pelvis. So they say you might most likely have a weakness in that. So that would mean, if that's a weakness of yours, then you would take the opposite of that, which is Gemini. You would take the Gemini salt to maintain and strengthen that weakness.
Now you're saying rules. Is this what you
Mhm.
meant when you were saying pull? What do you mean when you say that it rules hips? Like explain rule. Like what kind of rule are we?
So You could really look at it as it shares the frequency. This it shares the same energy.
Mm, mhm.
So when I say rules, it's this part of the body is Sagittarius. The sexual organs and reproduction, that's Scorpio. The feet, your lymphatic glands or your the lymphatic system, that's ruled by your feet, which is Pisces. So the when I say rule, I mean it it controls it. We'll say that. It
Okay.
controls it.
Okay, so I'm gonna name a body part and you tell me what planet rules over that.
It would not the planet, the zodiac.
The zodiac. Zodiac. Okay, you tell me
Hmm.
the zodiac that rules over that. Okay? Cool.
Okay.
Nose,
That's your Aries.
Aries. Lips,
Aries.
hands,
Hands. Ooh, let me see. Um, what was that? The arms and the. I don't remember off the top of my head. Hands.
let's
I
come back.
can't. I
Let's
can't.
come back.
I
Let's come
can't
back.
remember the hands.
Let's come back. Okay, what about
My
stomach?
head's blanked out.
Wh-
So you said the stomach.
Yes,
That would be Taurus,
Taurus.
I
Okay.
believe. Hold
So
on. See now I'm you making me quit. I'm questioning myself.
okay,
Hold
okay,
on. I'm
okay,
questioning myself. The bow. Nope. I'm wrong. So the hands is Gemini
okay.
and the stomach is Cancer.
Cancer. Okay. So
Yeah.
does it also hair, nails, eye? What about things like what the body does, like eyesight, or is it just eyes? Period. Does it also control and have an effect on the function, or is it just governing that area? Is am I
It's
saying
governing.
it's
That's a great
governing?
word.
It's governing.
Governing.
Okay, it's governing, but the
Hmm.
function it doesn't it doesn't affect the function.
It can though.
It can't. Okay.
I mean, really, it's not that it's affecting it, it's that you aren't okay. It can, but really it's more so you. If you're not aware of the fact that you're not giving yourself the proper minerals, then you're going to cause an imbalance.
Mm,
But as I said, we do have, so for instance, if you have solar flares or if you have transits, say Mars is square your moon, that's going to cause some irritability.
mm.
So then it would be suggested that you take your moons off because then it'll calm that irritability because now you've given your body what it needs to maintain its alignment pretty much. So imagine you gotta, and everything is energy, right? So if we're being hit with all this energy, you can imagine it being like a lightning bolt hitting you. That's like me as a reader. When I'm getting that information, it can dehydrate you. That's why you see some readers, they'll stop and they'll drink some water because it's like a lightning bolt hitting you and you drying up. So you have to give your body the minerals it needs in order to even remain hydrated. Because we're dealing with that now where we're not even able to hydrate ourselves properly with water because we don't have the minerals in our foods anymore. Our foods have literally been stripped because our soils have been stripped. So now these salts they'll actually help with that maintaining that well-being, like I was saying, that alignment.
Okay, so the salts. Bes-
Mm-hmm.
Go into the salts more, and I don't know anything about this. So can you explain it? So I'm a Capricorn.
Right.
So what's the salt for me? How would that work? How do I take it? Where do I find it? How do I use it? Do I put it in a tub? Do I smoke it?
No,
Put it in the air? What do I do?
so the salts, they are in a form of little tiny pills
Hmm.
that you can place under your tongue, and then your membranes absorb it. Because if you swallow it, your stomach is gonna destroy it. You're not gonna get it. So you put it under your tongue so your tongue can absorb it, and it'll go straight into your bloodstream.
Oh, ecstasy. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, okay. All right.
Or
Okay.
it can be a tincture,
Hmm.
which is they make it in a liquid form, and you'll see a little dropper, and then you can take it and put on your tongue or under your tongue and let it sit for about a minute, and then you're good. So those are the forms that they come in. Or they also make it into a spray, because there's one particular salt, um, like one particular salt mixture that they turn into a spray. And say, for instance, you have joint pain, you spray your knee and it stops, because that mineral actually absorbed straight through your skin and went exactly to where it needed to go.
So the salts. What happens if someone takes the Capricorn salt, but their salt, that's not their salt? So can I? Because I'm greedy, right?
But
So
who says it's not their salt? Because now what you're doing is you're focused on your sun sign when you have other signs.
okay, so it's not static, so it's flexible, it's fluid. Even though
Right. So it's
even though I'm
what
a
that's
Capricorn,
why.
I can do other salts.
Right.
Okay, copy. All
All of them, because even if, say, for instance, you have, this is the thing, they say you should take, um, they have one that is all the salts in one, called bioplasm. It's all of them. And you take it like a vitamin. People take it like a vitamin
right.
every day. But it's when you know you have specific ailments, and okay, this is what's going on with me. So which salt do I need to take? Because they're easily accessible. You can go to Amazon and buy them. You can look them up online and find them. It's homeopathic medicine. It's natural medicine.
And what's the name?
So
Wait, real quick. What's the name for what do you call this?
this is homeopathic
Homeopathic.
medicine.
Homeopathic salts, or is that
But the actual name of the salts are biochemical salts or cell salts.
cell salts? Cell,
Hmm.
cell salts. All right.
And there's so many blogs, websites that you can purchase. They even sell them. There's a particular brand other than Schussler, because that's the main brand. There's Highlands as well, Hylands, and they sell those in Walmart and Walgreens, because they make medicine for babies. So if you, I remember when my daughter was having issues sleeping, there was a cell salt that was specifically for children for sleeping, because they knew what because even though I'm talking about Zodiac salts, they have their own properties as well. So if we go into Pisces, which is ferrum phosphate, even though Pisces rules the feet and the lymphatic system, it's mainly used by itself. When you take away the Zodiac, it's used for fevers, is used to break down inflammation and mucus, and they call it the first aid salt. It's a salt that brings oxygen. They call it the oxygen salt as well. So it's like you use all of these things, and it just so happens that happens to be my Mercury. So I could literally take this salt if I had brain fog,
Mm.
because it's my Mercury sign. So if I'm feeling like, I don't have, I'm feeling a little foggy, like I'm not thinking straight and everything, I can take it because I'm lacking the minerals. So now my body is like, wait, we don't have what we need in order for us to really focus.
Mm-hmm.
So I can take that salt and it'll help bring my focus back because now my body is not craving or not needing anything.
So, just going back to some of the things you said, you mentioned mothers, and you
Mhm.
mentioned that you don't think mothers are being honored. What does that look like? Better yet, what does honoring a mother look like?
Honoring a mother is taking in consideration what the mother goes through creating that child. They take everything. They really do. We and even though you'll see women and they'll say, "Oh, you're glowing and oh, your hair is so luxurious and luscious now. Oh, your nails are so long." That's because now we've started making more blood. And so that extra blood, it makes us flourish pretty much. But guess what? When the baby comes out, all that goes away. Your hair falls out. Your nails get weak because they take it. So all that extra that we do, it's like that should be honored.
What does that
Especially
look like though? What is it like? So if say there's a guy listening, his wife
Mhm.
is maybe is pregnant, and they're hearing what you're saying. What does that
Showing
look?
compassion,
Mhm.
having compassion, having patience, you know, and trying to understand and really know what this woman is going through and dealing with. And I believe honoring even more would be actually learning, because it's so many, I don't want to say so many men, but it's some men out there who they have no idea what goes on when a woman's having a baby. They don't know. And then they don't know that, say for instance, if she has postpartum depression, that happens a lot because it takes 2 years for a woman to get back in order after a baby.
What
two
do you
years
What do you mean by that?
It takes 2 years for a woman's hormones and everything to balance back. So imagine, you know it's like having that understanding that it takes 2 years for a woman to heal, pretty much. It takes 2 years for a woman to heal after a pregnancy. So that means her body healing, her mental healing, her emotions healing because her hormones are crazy. Because half the time, I remember when I was pregnant and after I had my baby, my hormones were everywhere. I didn't even know. I'm over here crying and I had to, sitting here saying, help me understand because I didn't even know what was going on. Then I go to my doctor and they say, your hormones are just going back. And then, not to mention, if they put you on birth control after having a baby. So now it's the hormones from those birth control that's messing you up even more. And so your body's trying to balance everything out. And that takes time. So it's like honoring us would be understanding, seeking out the knowledge of what all of this entails of having a baby, seeking out, you know, being patient and being compassionate. Those are the main things that's needed because a lot of it is impatience. Because think about, there's some men who they want to have sex all the time. Some women, because that's another thing, you got to go by the individual woman.
Mm-hmm.
Some women will snap right back into that, but
Mm-hmm.
some women don't
Right.
because their hormones aren't like that.
Right.
That's not. but an understanding needs to be there. That's true honor.
Question.
Hmm.
So we're talking and discussing astrology. How or should people study their chart in order to know when it's the best time to conceive a child? How
Yes,
okay, how does that
they
look?
should, but I don't. That part, I don't know.
Okay.
That we would say, I don't know that part because I know, with me studying the Gnostics,
Hmm.
they talk about that.
Okay.
That specifically, it wasn't we weren't meant to be out here just
We'll have baby.
spreading seed. No, we weren't. They looked to the stars and they knew because what? Even in the Bible, it tells you that the three men knew he was here
Why?
because of the stars.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Okay.
So the Gnostics said they looked to the stars to see when to have a child because if you look at your chart, it tells you everything. It tells you your personality, it tells you your health. These potentials though, don't we can't make it definite because you have a say in that. Now, if you don't follow your energy because of what? Free will,
Hmm.
then you're gonna mess yourself up. But you do have energetic checkpoints. It'll tell you you had, but see, the thing about it, I wouldn't call myself an astrologist because for me, in order to call myself an astrologist, I would have to study astrology for at least 10 years. For me, that's when you start to hit master status.
That's
But
important. Is that important? Is that something that you hold reverence to, master status?
I mean, as far as, your discipline
Hmm.
or what it is that you do, so I wouldn't say that I'm an expert in astrology at all. I just know how to tie it into what I am an expert in.
And what is that?
Oh, inner beauty and
Inner beauty. Okay.
outer beauty, but
Inner
I
beauty.
like to focus on inner beauty.
Okay. Let's start. Let's circle the car back right here. All right. Inner beauty. Give me a summary of that.
Inner beauty is your mind, your heart, and your soul. All of that being in alignment. It's easy the outer beauty is easy. That's easy. But when it comes to your mind and your mental, that being on point and in alignment with yourself, not with society, not with the world, not with any of that. Your heart as well. And then your soul. Is all of that in together? Is there any blockages to that? Then we can go into chakras, your energy points. Are those in alignment? Do we have any blockages? Do we have any shadows? I like to call it static, personally, because it helps people have a better imagery. So if I have my chakra points and this energy is supposed to flow, but then it can't flow, that's because there's some static there that you need to clear up. And at times that could be a health issue, but most of the time, or all the time, because spirit is first
Hmm.
and then it reflects out. So
How
you
do
got to deal with the inner first in order to truly be beautiful.
how does a person get something things in alignment that they can't actually see? Right? So the inner world is something that people can't see. So how would they get those things that you're talking about in alignment when they can't actually look at it? What's the process for that?
So for me, I usually do a reading first for them, an energetic reading,
Mm-hmm.
so I can see what the blockages are. And a lot of times, well, I'm clairaudient, so I hear things in people's voices as well. So you that's usually what I do. But you can an individual, they can feel it. Not only can they feel it, they do see it because all of these blockages, they're going to reflect out in the external. You're going to see it.
Mm.
A person can't deny it, even though they may want to, but you'll be able to see it. There won't you can't say you don't because you'll see it. Even if you for instance, if you somebody who has a lot of money, all right, cool. But there's other aspects around them that aren't so great.
Mm.
They know it. You may not see it, but they know it.
You said clairaudient.
Mhm.
Clairaudient. What's that mean? What?
Clairaudient is when you can hear beyond. So I can hear. I get messages out of frequencies, out of sound.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So like if somebody if
Mm.
somebody taps a table with their fingers, I can know something from it. Like that's just I don't know why, but it just happens that way. So
What about this
you
right?
also have
What about?
you
Wait,
have
wait, wait. Hold on. What about this? Anything? Anything?
I'll talk to you about that later.
Okay, okay.
How about that?
Okay, cool. Okay, that's what's up. Okay, all right. Okay, inner beauty is alignment. Okay, outer
hmm
beauty. All right. What has to be aligned on the outer? In the inner, you talked about mind, body, and soul, chakras. That's all inner work. So
Yeah,
outer, what does that look like? What does that consist of?
that looks like you. Who are you?
Mhm,
How do you see yourself?
mhm,
Because a lot of times we are influenced, right? We're influenced by what we see, other people, fashion, and da da da. Da. But then you'll see some of those people who wear whatever the hell they want, right? Because they know themselves. They're
mhm,
not caught up in the, oh, I'm supposed to be looking this way or something like that.
mhm,
This is who they truly are. So that's another thing that I do is image. So does that really tie in with you? Because now we can really go into astrology with that too. Because you have a what they call the midheaven. The midheaven can actually tell you what colors you should use for your brand because those are the colors that will attract you or attract things to you, attention to you.
mhm,
So, for instance, Aries, my colors are red, orange, gold, yellow, brown, maroon, red. So, because Aries is Mars. And what is Mars? The red planet.
mhm,
So, then you have, for instance, Sagittarius. There's one particular woman before she dyed her hair, um, before she dyed her hair purple, her brand wasn't doing that well. Well, one of Sagittarius's color is purple. She dyed her hair purple and her brand blew up just from dyeing her hair purple.
okay.
So there are things, that's why I understand a lot of people see astrology the way that they see it, but that's programming. I'm going to just be honest. Because if nobody told them that it was evil and all that, they wouldn't think that. If they actually looked at it themselves, they would say, man, and we ain't even going to go. That's just a Western. If you go into sidereal astrology or
Oh,
Vedic astrology,
it's different types of astrology.
uh-huh.
So it's not all. Can you give me an example? So it's what?
So for Western astrology, what it does is it makes all of the constellations equal degrees, when in reality, the constellations aren't all the same size.
Mhm.
So one of the constellations, Virgo, is huge. We have a lot of Virgos and we have a lot of Libras who think they're Libras, but they're really Virgos.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, I have a little conspiracy theory on that. We ain't gonna get all the way into that. But when, for instance, even in Western
Wait, real quick.
astrology,
Can I hear the conspiracy? Tickle me for a second.
I personally, nobody's gonna agree. I doubt anybody's gonna agree with me.
Shoot, let's go.
But I feel like it was switched on purpose
Okay.
because even the Farmer's Almanac, it doesn't go by Western astrology. It goes by sidereal. The cell salts, they go by sidereal. They don't go by Western astrology. And so I really think a lot of the systems that have been changed on purpose so you can't get accurate information.
Why
Think
would?
about it. If you can use astrology to learn yourself, how can you be controlled if you know yourself?
Mm,
So if
so,
I tweak something and I say it's evil
mm,
and I tweak it so that it's not accurate. Now don't get me wrong, it makes a little sense because when I look at my Western chart, it tells me that my sun sign is Aries. But then it tells me my Mars is Taurus. But when I go to my sidereal, it tells me my Mars is Aries. So then it makes sense because Mars, it rules your temperament. So I'm the type of person that it takes a very long time for me to get upset. Somebody can do something and do something and do something and do something. And I'm just like, whatever, until we get to that point and then I blow up. And then they're clutching their pearls and shit.
mm,
So, but that's Taurus because it's a bull and you chill, but then you poking the bull and then the bull goes off, right?
mm.
Well, but if you look at sidereal and the Mars and Aries, that's a quick fuse. That means it comes, but then it goes away quick. I get angry and then it leaves. So it both makes sense. But when I look at it as a whole, sidereal, it makes sense as a whole compared to my Western. My Western doesn't all the way. Some parts do. There's another theory though that I have. I kind of see that, okay, when we're looking at the world, Western would be the world. It would be the physical self.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
then when you have sidereal that really mostly focus on the moon sign as the most important, compared to Western, it focuses on the sun. Sidereal and Vedic, it focuses on the moon sign the most. Then that would seem spiritual to me. So it's almost like the Western is the physical, and then the Sidereal and Vedic is the spiritual aspect.
So you think the switches are purposely done so it throws people out of alignment? Like they can't work on the inner and outer beauty
Mm-hmm.
of the switches?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you do readings.
Mm-hmm.
What kind?
I do card readings. I I can use anything, but I typically use cards. I'll use oracle cards. I'll use cards I made. I'll use tarot. I've kind of shifted away from tarot because I feel like oracle allows me to do my own thing. Instead, tarot tries to be very specific.
I'm
And
gonna
I like to use my own gifts.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Do you have your cards with you?
I do.
Really? Okay. So, are you open to do a reading right now online?
Yeah, I can do a reading. That's
All
cool.
right. All right. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Let's do it. I need I need one person to call up. There goes the number right there, and I'll just let you take it away. Somebody call. Let's get it going. And if someone wants to follow up with you, you'll have information to direct people to follow you, right? Because it's what you do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, dope. All right. Okay. So 602. All right. Let me see. Hello, this is Ken.
Hi, Ken. I made it through good.
What's good? What's popping? Are you watching me?
I'm watching you. It's
Okay.
Shayla.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna have Shayla. Can you hear her?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your name? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's Deshay.
Hey, Deshay. What's up? All right. Okay, Shayla. Shayla, Shayla. All right, girl, ladies, y'all go ahead and do your thing.
Shyla.
Shyla.
It's
Yes,
okay.
Shayla.
Everybody does that.
Shyla. All right. All right. Y'all got it. I'm out y'all business. Go ahead.
All right. And that's Deshay. So, Deshay, do I have permission to peek into your energy? Deshay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, you have my permission.
Okay, Deshay, you was if just speak up a little more, love. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, you giving me permission? Yes. I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Deshay, can you hear her?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay. Good. We
Can
couldn't
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I got permission to do a reading for you.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, thank you. Because that's one thing I'll say. That's not something you can't. Not that you can't, but you're not supposed to peek into people's energies without permission. That's
Right.
a no. I'm just letting people know that. So don't do that. You can have a bit of a backlash because of that. The state already. So I just seen my sweet nothings card. It's actually called the people's card. But sweet nothings, that's a card that's pretty much like you might have either you, but typically it's other people. They're putting like they're covering your eyes. They're not sharing, you're not seeing the whole truth about something.
Mm.
Even though you're getting signs about the truth, but you're not exactly paying attention. And you need to pay attention. It came out. People card. This is what I'm talking about. You have somebody or some. It doesn't have to be just one person. It doesn't have to actually be a person. It could be a company. It could be a group. And it's like this is a card about wanting to be in the in crowd, wanting to be a part of this group, but this group isn't really. They're not being completely honest with you, and you see it though, but you're kind of ignoring it. So now I don't know why we're doing this. This wanted to come out because you feel like they're giving you a sense of freedom, but they're not. You don't need them for the freedom. You give because really, because really, what's happening here is you think you need them for freedom, but really, They need you for freedom. I
Mm.
don't know what this freedom is. Maybe you have a different view of things and it kind of intrigues them, and they see, this is when I say when people see your light and that they can benefit from that. It's like they're covering your face, because even with this people card, there's you can't see it probably that well, but it's a heart with a key hole on his lapel. So it's like you're almost wearing your heart on your sleeve, so it's easy for them to kind of manipulate you. So you need to be careful with this, because this is kind of, even though you feel like you're having freedom from them, but you're not. It's false. There is really chaining you, and the problem is because you're not believing in your own magic. They see it. They see it. They see your magic. You don't see your own. So now, and it's because you were hurt before, possibly. Like, how does a Pegasus not think that it's magical? Because it was hurt. So it's sitting here, it's stepping in this water here, and water represents emotion. Also, this moon here, your intuition, your emotions, your feelings. But it's almost like you forget that you have foresight. You have the vision for it. You don't need other people, they need you. That's the whole point. But it's like, because you've been hurt before, you're kind of, you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable right now, and that's being taken advantage of. Oh Lord, it just went under the same card I just seen that I said you were seeing the signs, colors and numbers. And see, this is the problem. You also feel like you're running out of time, and you're not. Oh, they're running out of time. They're running out of time. So they may be really grasping onto you, not wanting you to go or leave because they feel that they're running out of time, because you are actually starting to see it. Like, you saw it, but now you're like, man, I can't. It's something I can't deny. I keep dropping these things. Yeah. Landscapes and places. Do you see how decrepit that is? Do you see how there's no more, wherever you are or whoever you around, they no longer serve you? There's no nutrition, there's no sustenance, because you're supposed to be going out here, seeing new things, meeting new people, but you sitting here with these. No, it's no longer, it doesn't serve you anymore. But see, when you're comfortable, see, vulnerable. You're vulnerable right now. This is the naked card. So because of your vulnerability, you're staying in this space that you really need to get out of. And it's not even just, it's mental too. It's like because remember I was saying how the inner reflects outside. It reflects to the external. So because your mental is comfortable where it is, like almost feeling like you're deserving of this. You're deserving of this lack. It's putting you in a lack area, like it's just keeping you in that lack space, which is where the people want you to be, because they get to feed off of you, because you're vulnerable. But you gotta, you you have to, your confidence has to come back. That one to come out, because you're running away from yourself instead of dealing with what you need to deal with. Instead of you dealing with the things you need to deal with, you want to run to these people who said that they can deal with it for you, but it's not true. You have to face this. What is it that needs to be faced? Surrender to the flow. So you're fighting this. You're being pushed to where you need to go, but you're fighting it. And you're tired. I don't know why you want to keep fighting it, because you're not supposed to be there anymore. You're not supposed to be around whoever these people are. And see, that's why, because you're not embracing the masculine. And this isn't a person, this is the energy. You're not directing your energy properly. All your emotional energy, your feminine energy is too chaotic, and you're not giving it a, I when I explain masculine and feminine energy, I say the masculine is a lightning rod and the feminine energy is lightning. You're not giving yourself any way to ground that energy. You're not directing it, because that's what the masculine does. It takes it and it directs it. And you're not doing that. You're not taking hold of your own life. You keep allowing other people to tell you when to make moves. And you got to honor yourself. You're not honoring yourself. You're not honoring this rebirth that's coming and that's already here. Because you were hurt. Be without malice. Because you got to realize that when yes, you were hurt. Yes, you've done things. Yes, other people have done things. But you have to forgive. The forgiveness is not for the other, as you hear, I'm sure, a lot. It's not for other people. It's for you, because you don't want your heart to be hardened. Light can't get in if your heart is hard. That's like trying to plant a seed. You can't even plant a seed because it's so hard. The soil is so hard. So you gotta don't let the darkness take you over, because then that's gonna give you, that's like almost being possessed by your own misery. And I'm gonna tell you, these people want you to stay in that misery because that's how they can control you. And you got to get out of that. You got to let go of whatever you've done, because maybe somebody has been trying to use that against you. Oh, well, you did this. Don't forget that you did this. It's not for you to forget, but you need to forgive yourself and stop punishing yourself. It's also saying to observe in silence, because these people around you, they're watching your moves and they want to control your moves. So you got to realize, what is the fox? The fox represents intellect, cleverness, but also known as thieves. I just heard steal your glory. I don't know what that's about. Steal your glory. Just wanted to come out. Wash away your burdens. This is what I'm talking about. You're sitting here. You see, I always explain this. This card is, the lotus plant. You see the lotus. Do you understand that the lotus grows in the murkiest waters, the crappiest waters, but it still grows in it and it comes out beautiful? And that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be be without malice. You're supposed to take all that gunk and that dirt, and you're supposed to transmute it into something beautiful. And for some reason, well, because I can guarantee you I'm about to see this. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to just let it do what it do. See? Make the sacrifice. Now, the maker, if you can see, there's a skull right there. This actually represents, if we were to look at the traditional tarot deck, this will be the death card. And not death and then somebody's going to die. Sometimes it means an ego death. But the original meaning for the death card is transformation. This is like the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. Right in the middle where that chrysalis is, when it's in that cocoon, it dies. It turns into goo, literally. It's no longer the same form and entity that it was before because it has now died and it now has to become something new. You have to let something go. And I guarantee you it's these people because you also have love without conditions. But I call this my self love card. You need to love yourself. This is the issue. You're waiting for somebody to love you instead of you loving yourself. It's like, oh, love me for all my wounds and everything, which is cool, but these are not the people for that. Why? Because you haven't done it yet. You haven't loved your wounds. You haven't, you have to do it first for yourself and then it reflects out.
Deshaya, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say?
She's on point. She's right.
I can't. You have to speak up, love.
I said she's on point. She's right.
Mm.
You need to ground. You're too anxious. See, but this is, I hate people sometimes. These people, these people are keeping your nervous system jacked on purpose. So it's like you can't rest. You're not able to rest and you're really not able to heal because you got too much lightning. It's too much lightning right now and you need to ground. You need to go meditate. You need to go, but you really, honestly, you need to get away from whoever this is because they're not allowing you to heal. Even when you try, and I'm feeling like because you see it, and that's what you want. I know that's what you want, but because you're around these people and they keep triggering you on purpose, you're not able to reset yourself. You have to get away, pull yourself out of the mess around these. You got to pull yourself out and rest and then come back. Right now, you too vulnerable. You too erratic because of all this energy flowing through you. And so I'm gonna pull a stress less, so we can see maybe there's something you can, what might help you with grounding. Oh God, all those cards. Okay. See? Exactly what I was just saying. Breathe from heaven to earth. Close your eyes and make sure the soles of your feet touch the ground. Breathe normally at a normal pace. And when you breathe in, imagine that the breath is traveling inside of you from heaven to earth. When you breathe out, think the opposite. Keep doing this for 5 to 10 minutes. Deep breathing relaxes the body, and concentrating on breathing calms the mind. This next card, breathe thanks. Concentrate on your breathing. Relax your body. It's the same, it's saying the same thing. You have to remove yourself from whatever this is. You have to. Even if it's a couple days, a few days, or permanently. You have to. Because you're not healing around these people. It's too much. You need a break from these energies. Because they're just pulling from you. Every time you get a bit of energy, when your cup starts to fill up, they don't even let it fill up all the way. But this is when we talk about the self-love card. Where are your boundaries? Why are we lacking the boundaries? Because you should be able to say no. If you can't say no, you need to sit with yourself and figure out why. Or, you know, We can get into a consultation and we can go deeper. That's absolutely fine too. But we're having some issues with our boundaries and we're having issues with grounding. But that's because you won't release these people, even though you know you need to. But I'm gonna
But
leave it there.
let's put a pin in that.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much.
so just,
And
oh, I'm sorry, Deshay, go ahead.
I was saying thank you so much, and I definitely want to get a consultation.
Okay.
So here I put her information on the screen right here.
Thank you.
So all you have to do is do the QR code. Just in closing, though, I just want to know, and was what she was saying to you on point?
Definitely on point, and it's not a group. It's my ex-husband who I'm still with, and he won't leave, and
Hmm.
it, all of it, like all.
Okay. Well, I definitely wish you well with that, Deshay. Thank you
Yeah.
for calling. Thank you for chiming in. Her information is right there. Just scan the QR code. It'll take you directly to her site, and you can follow up with her. And thank you. Thank you for calling.
Talk to you soon, Deshae.
Yes, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Good night.
Wow, that was dope. So, Miss Shyla, um, that was dope. I appreciate you. Is there any is there any closing remarks that you would like to share? How people could follow up with you, know more about you, and follow your work, get more intimate with your work. Go ahead, you have the floor.
Yeah. So if you're interested in doing a consultation with me, you can, of course, do that QR code there. But my website is ShylaMarcella.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at Muse Shyla Marcella. Follow me on Facebook, Muse Shyla Marcella. And if, for instance, I've just created a group sessions because I did have some clients that, sometimes they fall on financial hardships and things like that. So I created the private group sessions. So, say for instance, you want to get a few of your friends and you guys want to do a group session, then we can go ahead and do that at a lower price for you guys. Also, if you want to join my Facebook group, you can find that on my Facebook page. If you want to join my Facebook group, you get discounts on readings for that. So,
Your
yeah.
Facebook group. Um,
hmm
can you drop the link or tell us the name? Is it a private group? Is it an open group?
It is a private group, so it's best that you contact me directly so that I can give you that link. So if you want to send me a message or if you want to contact me on my website, you can do so, and I'll send you over the link.
Matter of fact,
hmm
the private.
Yeah,
I'm
you can follow me on my. Or what was I gonna say? I forget. It'll come back in a moment.
okay. So okay, Shyla. So when the stream is over, just come back. Whether you're on Facebook, just come back. Just come back and put the link in the chat, and then the people that were here and people that's on the replay,
I
they'll.
may be. I think.
Let me see. Let
Oh,
me see.
I can't even. Can I?
Okay, 1 second. All right, I'm gonna.
Oh, I can send it to you, and you can.
Oh, okay, yeah. So what I'll do is the links that I have, I'm gonna drop them in the chat right now, and
Oh
everybody.
wait, it's not letting me paste, so never mind.
Okay. All right. I'm going to just drop the links that I have. Okay. Was that it? Do you have IG? Is there anything else that you would like to share? We
Yeah,
definitely.
like I said, Instagram is Muse Shala Marcella.
Mhm.
Um, I am building my YouTube channel up. You can follow me as Muse Marcella on there as well. You just look it up. But it's not, quite as I would like it yet. So let's
Don't.
not focus on
Well, yeah,
that.
we'll definitely help you with that.
Yeah, I'm very well, I just, you know, that wasn't really because I even though I was doing readings, I wasn't really out there. Like I wasn't promoting it or anything like that because people come to you.
Hmm.
So it's not something that you really have to,
Hmm.
because whoever comes to you is supposed to come to you.
Right.
So even though, I wasn't on social media like that, I was still doing them. I've been doing them since 2000, well, professionally since 2018.
Hmm.
I've been studying since 2007. So I would say that I'm a master at this point.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Shyla, appreciate you. It was definitely an honor and a pleasure. I know people are going to follow up with you. You know, they're my peoples. They're good peoples. So my peoples,
Welcome, welcome.
me casa su casa. So we appreciate you. All right.
Thank you. And thank you for the invite. I appreciate you as well.
Thank you for